Hello, everybody. It's Wednesday. Hello. Let's get things organized first. Hello, everybody. Wednesday night book study. And you all know we've been studying for the past couple of weeks this book, Money and the Law of Attraction, Learning to Attract Wealth, Health, and Happiness by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And today we are starting a new section, and this section is called My First Steps. Oh, sorry, no, that's the heading. Careers as Profitable Sources of Pleasure. And this is page 171 in the printed book. All right, so exciting. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Good to see you here. Who else is here? Drop me a comment so that I know who's watching. Okay. You know, careers are really important, or the work that we do is really important for two reasons, or more than two reasons. It's important because, first of all, we spend a lot of our day doing the work that we do, right? For the most part, we spend our day focused on whatever it is that we want to accomplish, and we do it because it gives us the income that we need in order to accomplish the goals that we have for ourselves, right? So one of the reasons that we are engaged in work is because we want to earn an income and then use that income to satisfy our other needs. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Natalie. But um, in all of that, the one objective that we leave out is that our work is also supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a source of pleasure. Because if it is not a source of pleasure, then it becomes a source of pain. And if it becomes a source of pain, if we wake up in the morning and we're like, oh my God, I really don't want to go there, but I have to, then our work is not enjoyable. And if our work is not enjoyable, listen carefully. If our work is not enjoyable, then we are creating a blockage to the abundance that we want to have flowing towards us. If our work is where our money comes from and we don't enjoy the work that we do, then we are creating a blockage towards the abundance that flows to us. So we have a choice. And the choice is simple but not easy. And the choice is I can either change my work or I can change my attitude about my work. Either one is fine because both of them will help. So either I can go and find work that I actually enjoy doing, and if I enjoy doing my work, then the abundance that I want will flow from it. Because that's how law of attraction works. Law of attraction is all about finding the joy first. Find the joy and then everything else will fall into place. Find the joy first. All right, so let's get started with what Abraham has to say on the subject. In the beginning of this section, Jerry is actually telling a story about his childhood. And he says that ever since he was a really little boy, people used to ask him, what do you want to do when you grow up? Everybody was in a hurry for him to make a decision. But he kept changing his decisions. He wanted to be a school teacher, he wanted to be a fireman because his house burned down, then he wanted to be a cop because a cop stopped his mother one day, and so then he broke his leg, I think, and he wanted to be a doctor because he was impressed by the doctor. So he kept changing his mind about what he wanted to do. And Abraham said something really, really wonderful. And Abraham said, we encourage you to decide as early in life as possible that your dominant intent and reason for existence is to live happily ever after. and make a career of living a happy life rather than trying to find work that will produce enough income that you can do things with your money that will then make you happy. When feeling happy is of paramount importance to you and what you do for a living makes you happy, you have found the best combination of all. Isn't that wonderful? That you enjoy your work so much, then everything that you want will come on its own, because that's how law of attraction works. Okay, hang on. Let me grab my little board and see if I can make sense of this for you. So, and hopefully I can show you my board. Alright, so law of attraction, the way Abraham explains it, and I love the way Abraham explains it because the emotional scale makes so much sense to me. So right here is fun. And when we are vibrating from here, then the things that correspond to this vibration of fun are what we attract into our life. But when we are vibrating over here in a place where we are not having fun, then the things that we are attracting into our life are coming to us on this vibration, and they are not things that will make us happy. So if we find work that makes us happy, or if we just get happy, then everything that we want will find its way to us, because that is law of attraction. Law of attraction means generate the vibration, and then things that correspond to that vibration will flow into your life. You don't really need to do anything until you are inspired to. When you're inspired to, by all means take action. Abraham never says don't take action. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to adjust the camera here. Abraham does not say don't take action. But Abraham says, take that action that is inspired, not action that feels like hard work. Because when something feels like hard work, that means you're not in alignment when you consider it. So I like this idea of just deciding that you're going to have fun and then go to work and keep that fun going. If you keep the fun going, then find ways to look at the work that you do and enjoy it instead of finding fault with it. You can become very good at feeling good under all conditions, but when you become good at reaching for your vibrational balance first and then attract circumstances and events to yourself from that happy place, your potential for sustained happiness is much greater. Awesome. So, now Jerry says there are cultures still today, and usually we call them primitive or savage, who seem to live in the moment without jobs. In other words, when they are hungry, they catch a fish or find fruit in a tree. Abraham says, will they be reading this? And they're just having fun. No, they won't. What is the basic category of people you believe will be reading this? And Jerry says, in answer, people who believe it is essential to have some sort of an income-producing job. Abraham says, what you believe is the predominant reason that people believe they should find a career early in life and then pursue it for the rest of their lives. And Abraham says that we don't have to. We don't have to make those choices about anything, not just about a career. Jerry says, of course, I can't speak for everyone, but it seems to almost be a moral or ethical position that we should or ought to find work that produces money. In other words, it's considered to be inappropriate to receive money without giving something back for it or without being productive in some way. Interesting. When Jerry says that sounds really interesting, doesn't it? That it is an expectation that there's no free ride. That's what they call it. They say there is no free ride. And if you believe that there is no free ride, then basically what you're saying is that you have to work hard in order for money to come. Right? You've got to exchange something for the money that you're getting. Most of the time we exchange our time for money. Abraham says, "You're right, most people do feel a need to justify their existence through effort or work, and that is perhaps the reason why the first question that you ask one another upon meeting for the first time is, 'What do you do for a living?'" Yes, isn't that true? We identify ourselves by the work that we do instead of identifying ourselves as the type of people we are. For example, somebody says, "Oh, hi, what's nice to meet you. I'm Zara," and the other person says, "I'm so and so," and then the next question is, "What do you do? Where do you live? Right? How many children do you have?" And when we answer those questions, talk about we talk about the work that we do. We identify ourselves by the career that we have. And maybe that's not such a good way to identify ourselves, right? Jerry says, "For about 40 years, I earned my living by working about an hour and a half a day. And often people would voice a sort of resentment that I could have such an income without putting out more time, which would usually evoke a justification from me, as I would then explain how much energy I expended during that 90-minute period, how many years it took me to become good at what I did, or how much driving I had to do to even begin my work. In other words, I always felt a need to justify that I was actually paying a fair price for what I was receiving." How interesting is that, right? Because I guess society, people don't people believe that money has to be earned, and when they say that, what they mean is, where's the sweat? Where's the sweat that shows you earned this money, right? So Abraham says, when you are in vibrational alignment, which means that you are in alignment with the source within you, then you never feel a need to justify to anyone what you do, right? And I guess people, there are so many debates about this, right? People say that why are the rich so rich and why are the poor so poor? And maybe the rich should forego some of what they have and distribute it to the poor so that there is more equality in the resources that we have at our disposal. And the answer to that is, we will never get that. That will never happen. There will never be equality that way, because the people who don't have enough are attracting that experience, and you cannot give them enough money to change that vibration unless they change the vibration first, and then you give them the money, and now the money will stay with them. So if you give someone who is poor, if you give them, let's say they win a lottery, somebody who is poor wins a lottery, unless they change their vibration, after that happens, they cannot hold on to the money if their vibration continues to be one of lack of money. Okay. Okay, so then Abraham says, many people early on in your experience attempt to demand your compliance with their rules and opinions. But if you allow what they want to be central to the decisions that you make, you only get further and further out of alignment with who you really are and with the intentions that you were born with, as well as those that have evolved from the life experience you are living. You will never experience the deliciousness of feeling free until you release your desire to please others, unless you release your desire to justify to other people why you deserve to make the money that you deserve to make. So this is very interesting, and I'll tell you a little bit of a story about this. And that also has to do with Abraham. When Abraham first started, they used to do their workshops for free. They would hold a workshop in the home of a friend, and the friend would call over other people who were interested. They never charged for it. And so when they started thinking about how much time they were spending doing the work that they were doing, they started thinking about, well, maybe we should put a price on this. And it was a really difficult decision for them to make, that they should start charging first of all, and how much they should charge. And that question always of how much you should charge has to do with your self-worth. It absolutely has to do with your self-worth. I know, because I see it out there, and I'm sure that you do too, that there are people who charge way more than other people in the same profession. There are things that get sold at a much higher value, higher price tag than other things. And I can see that happening on my street just now. I can see that my neighbors who are selling their homes, some of them think that their house deserves this much, and some of them think that their house deserves this much. And each one of them is right, because what you think you deserve is what you will get in the end. You can put a high price tag on something, but if you don't think that you are deserving of it, then you cannot manifest it. And this is what happens in a lot of businesses. When business people think about what they should charge, that always and only has to do with their sense of self-worth. Right? Okay. No matter what choices you make, there will always be someone who does not agree with those choices. Like some people feel that Abraham doesn't charge enough for what they do, and other people feel that they charge too much for what they do. So you can never make everybody happy. There's just absolutely no way that you can make everyone happy. So why even try? Like, why even go there, right? Um, that is the question. All right, hang on, folks. Just, sorry. I just need to align something here. 1 second. Here we go. There. Sorry, my daughter was trying to call me and I had to send her a message to let her know. Mommy's in the middle of something, sweetie. Okay. It's not your role to fix the feeling of lack within others. You can't. There's no way. You cannot give enough justification to those people who feel that you're making too much money. You can't give them enough justification to prove to them that you deserve what you're getting, because that's not, if they were at a higher place on the emotional scale, you wouldn't have to do any proving. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. You wouldn't have to do any proving at all if they were high on the emotional scale anyway. It's because those people are low on the emotional scale. That is why they are asking you to provide justification. When someone is high on the emotional scale, they enjoy seeing other people getting whatever it is that they're getting. It's only people who are low on the emotional scale who feel jealousy, who feel as if somebody is taking away from them. Because when we start understanding law of attraction, we know that we are not taking money away from anyone. They will get what they deserve based on what their vibration is. Nobody can take anyone else's money away. Whatever is yours, you will receive. That is law of attraction. All right. So Abraham says, when you pay attention to the way you feel and you practice self-empowering thoughts that align with who you really are, you will offer an example of thriving that will be of tremendous value to those who have the benefit of observing you. You cannot get poor enough to help poor people thrive, or sick enough to help sick people get well. You only ever uplift from your position of strength, clarity, and alignment. Yes, Absolutely, that is true. Because when you are aligned, you're high on the emotional scale, and when you are high on the emotional scale, that is when you can inspire other people. All right. So then the next heading is the law of attraction and career question mark. Abraham is asking a question now. And the question is, what is the primary reason for the desire for a career? And Jerry answers, I read a study done recently that concluded that what most people are looking for is prestige. In other words, if offered the choice of having a higher title or more money, most choose the title. And Abraham says, those who are seeking prestige have placed their own guidance system with seeking approval from others, and that is a rather unfulfilling way to live because the onlookers you are seeking to please do not sustain long lasting attention upon you. So, prestige is not a good enough reason for engaging in any activity because that prestige is short lived. Because think about it, you only feel the prestige when someone else is looking at you. When you're alone with yourself, right, then you don't feel that feeling of prestige because the whole idea behind feeling prestige is that other people should observe you and think how wonderful you are, right? That is prestige. And if you have self-worth, then you don't need for other people to show you that kind of value. You believe in your own value, and you feel your own value. All right, let's keep going. So then, Abraham is saying sometimes people worry that if they selfishly consider what makes them happy above all other things, that they will be uncaring and unfair to those around them. But we know that the opposite is true. I hear this a lot from people who say, Zara, is it okay for me to be selfish? Can I be selfish and just look after myself? Yes, you can. Because when you look after yourself, then other people will find a way to look after themselves. You don't have to be responsible for everyone and everything. And I had to teach myself that because I always used to feel, a good mother is a mother who's always there with her children and makes sure that all their needs are provided for. And then as I looked around me, I saw mothers who were stay-at-home moms. I was not. I was always working. I've always been working. And so sometimes I used to feel this guilt about, I'm leaving my child and going to work. And then these women are home, they're stay-at-home moms. And I discovered that the stay-at-home moms weren't doing a much better job of looking after their children compared to myself. In fact, I was spending more quality time with my daughter and my son than those women who were staying home all day. So it made me realize that it's not about pleasing other people. It's about pleasing yourself. It is about you feeling satisfied with what you're doing because time has nothing to do with it. You can spend a lot of time and still not do a good job, and you can spend very little time and do a fantastic job, right? So time has nothing to do with it. Self-satisfaction is what it is all about. So then Abraham is saying, we understand that it can feel very good when others hold you as their object of attention, as they're feeling appreciation for you, because they are then doing exactly what we were just explaining to you. In their appreciation of you, they are connected to Source and showering it all over you. But to ask others to always be in alignment with Source and to always hold you as their object of attention so that you can be showered with the well-being they are providing is not practical, right? Because we don't know where people are on the emotional scale. People can be anywhere. We can't possibly know where people are on the emotional scale, and we can't expect other people to be always on a high so that when we are near them, that we also feel on a high on the emotional scale. It's just not reasonable. And that's why our center has to be inside us and not outside of us. We don't need to look towards other people for to in order to find our value. We have to find our value first inside us, and then other people who look upon us will be able to feel our value. We have to feel deserving. We have to have the self-worth. We have to feel the value first. An interesting thing to note is those who care about how they feel, who consistently hold themselves in an attitude of good feeling emotions, who are connected to source and flowing positive thoughts outwards towards whatever they are focused upon, are usually seen by others to be attractive. And they are often the recipients of much appreciation and approval. Because it's all about vibration. When you feel confident and you feel good, you vibrate that feeling, and then other people capture that feeling with their antennas, and it makes them feel good as well. Alright, so now this paragraph here is really important. You just cannot get the approval you seek from the place of needing it or from a place of the lack of it. An office with a wonderful window view or a parking place with your name on it or an impressive title accompanying your name cannot fill the void caused by not being in alignment with who you really are. When you achieve that alignment, those things feel less important, but then, interestingly enough, they come to you anyway. Isn't that interesting? Because when you're high on the emotional scale, you stop chasing after things. Because when you're high on the emotional scale, you trust and you know inside you that everything that you want is coming to you. That's part of alignment, right? So you stop running after things because you become more or less, I like saying you become like a tree, that everything that you want will come to you and you don't have to go running after anything. But when you have that attitude, that means that you have no attachment to the outcome. And when you don't have attachment to the outcome, the things that you want will come to you anyway. And that's what Abraham is saying in here. Okay. So now the next topic is filling my void through service. I'm sure you've heard it said. A lot of people say this. A lot of motivational speakers use this, that be of service to others. When you are of service to others, it comes back to you. So let's read about this and see what Abraham's perspective is about this. So Jerry says, during my 20 years in a wide variety of positions in the entertainment industry, I really had a lot of fun. It required only a few hours of my time, and I had a lot of adventurous challenges because I had so many new experiences. And yet I often told people that I felt I was walking across the sands of life. But when I look back, there were no tracks. In other words, I felt that I was bringing my audiences some temporary pleasure, but I wasn't leaving them with anything of permanent value. Do we all inherently have those drives to uplift others? Do they come from another level of ourselves, or do we pick those intentions up from others around us once we are born into this physical environment? Wow, that is a big question, isn't it, guys? Right? Is it our job to provide value to other people? Huh? Okay. So Abraham says, you are born wanting to be of value, wanting to uplift, and you are born understanding that you have value. Most of that feeling of lack that you were describing was not about your not being able to provide lasting value to others, but because your thoughts were keeping you away from your own personal alignment. It works like this. When you are in alignment with who you really are, with your inner being or source, you cannot help but uplift those with whom you come into contact. And in that alignment, you do not notice so many others who are not in alignment. The law of attraction does not surround you with dissatisfied people when you are satisfied, and the law of attraction does not surround you with satisfied people when you are dissatisfied. Isn't that interesting to know? This is exactly why we say that people are a mirror image. They are a mirror image of what is going on inside us vibrationally, because we only attract those people into our life who are reflecting to us where we are vibrationally. You simply cannot compensate, very important words, you simply cannot compensate for your own misalignment by offering more time, energy, or action. You cannot compensate with time, energy, or action. Cannot compensate for lack of an alignment. So someone who is aligned gets a lot more done more effectively, efficiently than someone who is not aligned. People who are not aligned take a lot more time to do the same task. That does not mean that they do a better job, because effort is not equal to alignment. Flow, ease and flow is equal to alignment, right? So this is a really important sentence. You simply cannot compensate for your own misalignment by offering more time or energy or action. You cannot find ideas that are effective enough to make up the difference. Your value to those around you hinges only upon one thing: your personal alignment. The only thing you have to give to another is an example of that alignment which they may observe and then desire and then work to achieve. But you cannot give it to them. People have to find their own alignment. People have to find their own alignment. They have to be willing to go up the emotional scale. They have to be willing to start feeling better. I know you can relate to this. You know how sometimes you meet up with a friend and you notice that they're just not feeling well. You know, they're not, their spirits are down. And so what you want to do is you want to lift their spirits. So you start talking to your friends and you start asking them questions and you start giving them information and sharing things with them because you want to lift their spirits. But you're not always successful, are you? Because you will not always be successful unless that friend is willing to go where you are taking them. If they are not willing, that means that their inner talk is saying to them, oh yeah, so sure, that's good, but I'm in a place where nothing matters. I'm in this horrible place and nothing matters. So when people do that, they disallow themselves from going up the emotional scale, and no matter what you do, you can't help them to feel better. Because people have to do that work themselves. Alignment is not something that you can delegate. You cannot delegate your alignment to someone else. You have to achieve your alignment yourself. Okay. The primary role that others around you play in that equation for creation is that they provide variety from which your desires are born. It was not your intention to measure your value against the value of others, but to be inspired to new ideas by the combination of things going on around you. Any comparison to the others is only meant to inspire expanded desire. It was never intended as a means to diminish you or to discount your value. Alright? So that's it in a nutshell. You cannot measure your value by the way other people look at you. And if you try to do that, you will always be unsatisfied. You will never really be as satisfied as you want to be. Hi, Marlene. Okay. Your life, oh, these are wonderful words. Listen to this, folks. Your life is not about what you will do after work. Your life is not about what you will do after work, on the weekend, or after you retire. Your life is happening now and is really represented by how you are feeling now. If your work feels unpleasant or unfulfilling or hard, it is not because you are standing in the wrong place, but because your perspective is clouded by contradicting thoughts. That's all there is to it. You cannot have a happy ending to a journey that has not been pleasant along the way. The end absolutely does not justify the means. The means or the path along the way always brings about the essence of an identical ending. So, if you're not enjoying the journey, then you are not going to enjoy the destination, right? And that the enjoyment of the destination is diminished by the lack of joy on your way there. But if you are having fun on your way there, then when you arrive, it's even more fun. Your fun becomes magnified and multiplied if you're having fun along the way, right? Okay, let's get back here. So now we are on to another heading, and the heading is, will my success uplift others? And Jerry's telling a bit of a story about his journey and how he found Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then he says that he realized at some point in time that he wanted to be self-employed because he wanted freedom. He was able to verbalize this to himself and say, what I want is freedom. I wanted to be able to control my income, is what he says. I wanted to be mobile so I could travel or be anywhere that I wanted to be. I wanted my work to be something where every life I touched, I elevated in some way. Or just let people be where they were, but that no one would ever be diminished as a result of knowing me. Isn't that a wonderful desire? That's like a pre-paving, that whoever I meet today, I will leave them in a better place than they were, or at least I will leave them where they were. I will not take them down the emotional scale. I will always try and bring people up the emotional scale. That's a wonderful pre-paving, don't you think? And if we could just pre-pave that for ourselves every day, then all our interactions with other people would be so much nicer. People used to laugh when I tell them that. They'd say, "Oh, Jerry, you're such a dreamer." And then Jerry says, within about 30 days of my clarifying what I wanted, I met a man who showed me a business that I could take to California and start. And it answered everything I was asking for. And so for the next years of my life, that business really took hold. And again, it fulfilled the essence of everything that I'd written down that I wanted. Do you know what that business was? It was Amway. So Jerry got into network marketing at really when that whole industry was in its infancy, and he built a team, and then he used to teach his team how to sell and how to make money, and that's how he became someone who inspired other people to find abundance. Okay. The next heading. Oh, sorry, I missed one. I want freedom, growth, and joy. Jerry said, I didn't say it had to be something I was capable of doing, or that I had the talent or the ability or the intelligence for it. I just said, this is what I want. Can any of us have that? Can we just put it out there and then let the universe bring it to us? Absolutely, because that really is what law of attraction is all about, isn't it? You just have to put it out there and then trust that the universe will bring it to you. Abraham says, yes, if this life experience has inspired the desire within you, this life experience has the wherewithal to fulfill it down to the very last detail. You had been coming to those decisions about what you wanted over a long period of time because of the life experiences that you had been living. Your decision point of focus upon those decisions in writing, your decision point of focusing upon those decisions and writing them down in a comprehensive manner caused an emphasizing of your belief regarding them. So, this is what scripting, the process of journaling and scripting, does for us. It helps us to clarify, focus more strongly, give our attention, and whatever we give our attention to is what we end up manifesting, right? So Abraham says, you were all born with a triad of intentions pulsing within you: freedom, growth, and joy. Freedom is the basis of that which you are, because everything that comes to you comes in response to the thoughts you think. And no one has control over the thoughts that you think other than you. When joy is your dominant quest, so that you gently train your thoughts into alignment with who you really are, all resistance subsides, and you then allow the expansion or growth that your life experience has inspired within you. So, freedom, growth, and joy, those are the intentions that we bring into this life experience with us. Those three are the intentions: freedom, growth, and joy. And that is why we all gravitate towards being free, right? Freedom is the main thing. We all gravitate towards joy. And growth is inevitable. Growth in understanding, growth in who we are, growing as a person, that is inevitable. It is an inevitable part of life. The next heading is called, I want my life to feel good. Abraham says, so this is their advice: when choosing a career or when doing the things that your work currently requires you to do, if your dominant intent is to feel joy while you are doing the work, your triad of intentions will come quickly and easily into alignment, because in your accomplishment of feeling good, you come into complete alignment with the broader non-physical aspects of your being. That alignment then allows the expansion towards all of the things that your life has helped you identify that you want, so your growth becomes swift and satisfying. All right, hang on. I just saw some questions. Can you please tell me what book you're teaching? Sounds interesting. Oh, sweetheart. It is the book Money and Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. All right, next question. Mike is saying, my career manifestation success story is, I was worried about money and working a job I would not like, so I started listening to Abraham and set a goal. 2 years later, I met my friend who is now my boss, and I get to work as a personal assistant for my friend, and I got exactly what I wanted. Awesome. Good for you, Mike. Thank you for sharing your story. That is wonderful. See, that's the thing. Best things happen that way, in an easy, relaxed manner. You don't have to work too hard. And that tells you whether or not you are in alignment or not. Okay, back to Abraham. When choosing a career or when doing the things that your work currently requires, if your dominant intent is to feel joy while you're doing the work, your triad of intentions will come quickly and easily into alignment, because in your accomplishment of feeling good, you come into complete alignment with the broader non-physical aspects of your being. That alignment then allows the expansion towards all the things that your life has helped you to identify that you want, so your growth becomes swift and satisfying. See, I want to stop here and just talk about something, and that is, most of us feel that the job has to come first and the money has to come, and then we'll be able to accomplish all the things that we want. But actuality is that that's putting it on its head, because if you are able to be happy, then the money will flow, and it does not have to flow through your job. That's the secret sauce. I think that the biggest thing that gets in our way is that we think that money is going to come to us through this one source. It's going to come to me, my money is going to come to me through my work. Well, it doesn't have to, because source has access to so many resources that source can bring us what we want, regardless of whether or not it comes through our jobs or our businesses or our work. What we want can come to us regardless of what we do. So then Abraham is saying, freedom is the basis of your life experience. It is not something that you have to earn. Joy is your objective. Growth is the result of all of that. But if you believe that you are unworthy and I lost my place. But if you believe that you are unworthy and you set out to prove worthiness through your action, you cannot find your balance. Often we explain this perfect triad of intentions of freedom, growth, and joy, but most physical beings then turn their attention immediately to the idea of growth in their misguided attempt for proving worthiness. Worthiness has never been in question. You have nothing to prove to anyone and nothing to justify. Your reason for existence needs no justification, for your very existence is justification enough. So you see, we never need to justify why we want something. I want it because I just want it. I want it. Why do you want it? I want it. Why? I don't know why. I just want it. And that is good enough. In fact, when we start justifying why we want something, we start generating resistance. And resistance is the thing that pushes all of that away from us. Resistance does not help us to manifest the things that we want. In fact, it gets in the way. So, we never have to justify. We never have to explain to anyone why we want the things that we want. We don't even have to justify them to ourselves. I just want it, and that's good enough. I create my own joyous career. Abraham says, we would like you to see your career as one of creating a joyful life experience. You are not a creator of things or a regurgitator of what someone else has created, or a gatherer of stuff. You are a creator, and the subject of your creation is your joyful life experience. That is your mission. That is your quest. That is why you are here. Okay. Really important question Jerry's asking now at this point. Sorry guys, just checking the comments. Sure. See you later, Mike. All right. Really important heading. Is it immoral to get without giving? Jerry says, Abraham, would you say that it would be morally or ethically correct for people to never give back? In other words, if they just lived on inherited money or won money, like the lottery, or lived off welfare or donated money, would you say that that would be appropriate for all of us? Abraham says, your question still implies that there is a price to pay for the well-being that flows to you, and that some sort of action is required to justify the flowing of the well-being. That is not the case, but it is necessary to align with well-being. You cannot focus upon lack of well-being and allow well-being into your experience. Many people focus upon unwanted things with no deliberate attention to the emotional guidance within them, and then they try to compensate for their lackful thinking with physical action, and because of the misalignment of energy they do not get the results from their action, so then they try harder by offering more action, but still things do not improve. All right, let me explain, because this is really important. Let's put the book aside. So if I hold this up, now I've spent a lot of years in sales, and so I'm going to give you an example from my own observation of people who are successful at sales and people who are not. So if you look at this as the emotional scale, if somebody is over here, they are below the midway point on the emotional scale, that means they're in the negative half of the emotional scale. And they're looking for clients or someone to buy whatever stuff it is that they're selling. They're going to have to make 100 calls to make one sale. But then you hear about those people who are super salespeople. They're over here. Their stats are completely different. When they make 100 calls, they sell to 80 people or 90 people because they are successful, not because of what they're saying. Some of it is because of what they're saying. But let's assume for 1 minute that they're saying the identical script to sell. But these people will get more yeses because they are in alignment. And so these people, to make the same amount of money, will have to call 8 times more people. So they'll have to call 800 people in order to make the same amount of money that this person is making by calling just 100 people. And that is because of where they are on the emotional scale. You see, understand this. The person who is buying from you is getting your vibration, first of all. Secondly, the words that you're inspired to when you're over here are totally different from the words that come out of your mouth when you're over here. The confidence level and the pace at which you offer those words, your tonality of how you speak is different over here from here. And all of these things together are a result of your vibration and bring you completely different results. And that really is what Abraham is talking about over here when they talk about how where you are emotionally has an impact on the results that you get. So when they say many people focus upon unwanted things with no deliberate attention to the emotional guidance within them, and then they try to compensate for their lackful thinking, compensate for your lackful thinking by making more sales calls. And then everyone says, oh, that person, so hardworking, but still not successful, right? And they all want to know what this person here is doing. Well, in order to get this success, you not only have to mimic the behavior, you also have to mimic the thinking, the belief system. Like the air you breathe, abundance in all things is available to you. Your life will simply be as good as you allow it to be. If you believe that you must work hard for the abundance that comes to you, then it cannot come to you without hard work. But in so many cases, the harder you work, the worse you feel, and the worse you feel, the more you disallow the results that you wanted to receive from your hard work. It is no wonder that so many people are discouraged and do not know which way to turn, for it seems that no matter what they do, they cannot thrive. So hard work does not lead to thriving. This used to be one of my biggest questions as a child. Why are my hardworking parents not as prosperous as those other people I see in my life who don't work as hard? Why? So hard work is not the answer. Hard work is not the way to prosperity. First, you have to change your thinking, and then even if you do a little bit of work, the results are huge. All right. So, to end this section, Abraham says, What you are living is always an exact replication of your vibrational patterns of thought. Nothing could be more fair than life as you are living it. For as you are thinking, you are vibrating, and as you are vibrating, you are attracting. And so you are always getting back the essence of what you are giving. How lovely is that? Because Jerry's question to start with was, is it immoral to get without giving? And Abraham is ending by saying, you are always getting the essence of what you are giving. Vibrationally, the vibrational essence of what you're putting out there. All right, folks, we are almost getting to the end of it. So I want to read this because it's very impactful. So just give me a minute. What most people are doing with most of their lives is offering action to try to compensate for vibrational imbalance. In other words, they think so much of things they do not want, and in doing so, they prevent what they do want from easily flowing into their experience. And then they try to compensate for the misalignment through action. If you would tend to your vibrational alignment first by recognizing the value of your emotions and trying to focus upon things that feel good, you would benefit tremendously by that alignment, and wonderful things would flow to you with far less action. The majority of action that is offered today is offered amidst tremendous vibrational resistance, and that is the reason why so many people have come to believe that life is a struggle. It is also the reason why many like you believe that success and freedom are at odds with one another, when in reality they are actually synonymous. It is not necessary to take money out of the equation, but it is necessary that you make your quest for joy be the most dominant part of your equation. When you do that, abundance in all manners will flow to you. It's all about an abundant mindset. And that abundant mindset comes to us by going up the emotional scale. Use, as Abraham says, use any excuse to go up the emotional scale, and the abundance will flow. All right, folks, we are getting to the end of our time together this Wednesday night. I will see you again with another chapter from the book Money and the Law of Attraction next Wednesday, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. EST. And if you like, I would love for you to join me on Facebook. Please remember before you leave to subscribe to my channel so that I can invite you back for more. And join me on Facebook in one of my Facebook groups. I would love to see you there. Certainly, you can grab the Unlimited Workbook, the Unlimited 40-Day Law of Attraction Workbook, and join the Unlimited group on Facebook, where I can get to know you better and we can play together. All right, folks, have a very good rest of the evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.